Hello, welcome to another episode of Simple Learning. I hope you all are doing well, and today's video is going to be on a very famous poem, The Bangle Sellers, by prominent Indian poet and politician Sarojini Naidu. This poem is mainly about the life of Indian women, the Indian culture and traditions revolving around women. It was first published in the year 1912 in Sarojini Naidu's collection of poems called The Bird of Time. The poem revolves around bangles, which are an important ornament for the embellishment of women in Indian society. As a woman passes through the different stages of life from childhood to old age, the color and design of her bangles change accordingly. So, let's get right into the poem. First stanza. Bangle sellers are we who bear our shining loads to the temple fair. Here, the bundle of brightly colored bangles is referred to as shining loads. The bangles are a sign of happiness and brightness in a woman's life. Who will buy these delicate, bright, rainbow-tinted circles of light? In these two lines, the bangles are described as delicate, bright, rainbow-tinted circles of light by the bangle sellers. And the figurative language or the poetic device is used in these lines. Who will buy these delicate, bright, rainbow-tinted circles of light is metaphor. Next lines. Lustrous tokens of radiant lives for happy daughters and happy wives. In the first stanza, we see bangle sellers carry shining bangles to the temple fair to sell them. The temple fair portrays a picture of Indian culture and tradition. Many daughters and wives visit this place, and thus bangle sellers would find prospective buyers. In this way, the poetess is trying to link our cultural heritage with spiritual conviction. The sellers are calling people to buy delicate, bright and rainbow-colored bangles. These bangles are symbolic of the brightness and radiance in the lives of women. They adorn the beauty of all happy daughters and happy wives. This is also an indication that the bangle sellers take a lot of pride in their work. The second stanza. Some are meet for a maiden's wrist, silver and blue as the mountain mist. According to the poetess, the bangles of maidens are always new and bright. They are pure and untouched, which look extremely beautiful around their wrist. They usually produce silver and blue reflections, similar to those of the mountain mist. Some are flushed like the birds that dream on the tranquil brow of a woodland stream. The poetess has described bangles worn by a woman in different stages of her life. She has related the beauty and simplicity of a maiden with birds that are about to blossom, about to bloom. An unmarried girl wears bangles of the color of blooming birds that are growing near the calm and quiet stream flowing in the woods. Some are aglow with the bloom that cleaves to the limpid glory of a newborn leaves. The poetess Sarojini Naidu has described the color of bangles worn by a maiden. She has compared the freshness and purity of a young girl with that of newborn leaves. She remarks that they wear shining green bangles whose freshness is close to the vivid beauty of newborn tender leaves. So, in this stanza, the poetic persona, the bangle sellers, say, there are bangles for young girls and they are silver and blue in color. He compares the silver and blue colors to the mountain mist, which represent the freshness in young girls. Some bangles are red and pink in the color, and they are compared to tender flower buds. The buds that dreams represents the dream for their upcoming life, and the green bangles represent the freshness of young woman. This stanza describes the early stage of a woman's life. Next, let's go through the third stanza. Some are like fields of sunlit corn, meet for a bride on her bridal morn. Some, like the flame of her marriage fire, or reach with the hue of her heart's desire. Tinkling, luminous, tender and clear, like her bridal laughter and bridal tear. In the third stanza, the poetess speaks about the yellow bangles that look like a field of sunlit corn. Fields of sunlit corn, this phrase describes the looks of the bride in the day of her wedding. She needs to look brighter of all on her wedding day. The bangle sellers also have some red and orange color bangles which represent the desire and wishes of the newly married bride. Here, the bridal laughter means the happiness of starting a new life, and the bridal tear means the pain of separation from her parents. Carefully notice the last line of the stanza, bridal laughter and bridal tear. In this phrase, the poetess describes different stages in a woman's life. She also remarks about the emotions of a bride on the day of her marriage. The words bridal laughter and bridal tears suggest the emotional feeling of a bride. It describes the transition of life from a young girl to wife. She laughs as she is going to start a new life, but at the same time, she sheds tears as she has to leave her parents' house to live with her husband and in-laws. Now move on to fourth stanza. Some are purple and gold-flecked grey, for she who has journeyed through life midway, whose hands have cherished, whose love has blessed, and cradled fair sons on her faithful breast, and serves her household in fruitful pride, and worships the gods at her husband's side. In the last stanza, the speaker describes the life of a woman after marriage. The bangle sellers are selling some purple bangles with gold and grey flecks. The color describes the life of a woman who has journeyed through life and raised her children well, helped her husband in all good and bad phases of their life. The purple color represents the pride and honor, and the grey color represents the maturity of a middle-aged woman. And what is the idea behind the phrase fruitful pride? The poetess wants to refer to the middle-aged woman who fulfills all her duties. A woman has been a caring daughter, a loving bride, a responsible wife and mother. She has carried out all her responsibilities with perfection, and she feels proud of her performance of household duties. Considering this, the poet has mentioned the phrase fruitful pride for the middle-aged woman. So, the poem The Bangle Sellers depicts the vibrant tradition of bangle sellers at temple fairs, offering bangles as symbol of various stages of a woman's life. The poem's lyrical language and vivid imagery evoke a sense of celebration and cultural significance. It reflects the author's deep connection to her Indian heritage and the role of women within it. Compared to Naidu's other works, the poem exhibits a similar celebration of Indian tradition and feminine experiences, but with a focus on the specific context of bangle sellers. In comparison to the time period, the poem captures the vibrant cultural practices and gender roles prevalent in the early 20th century India. Now, after completing reading the poem, let's discuss about the form and structure of this poem. This poem is a lyrical poem of 24 lines divided into 4 stanzas of 6 lines. Each stanza consists of 3 rhyming couplets following a simple rhyme scheme of AA, BB, CC. Now, what about the title of this poem? Sarojini Naidu's poem The Bangle Seller is all about bangles. The poet has depicted a picture of typical rural Indian society in the first half of the 20th century, where bangle sellers go to the temple fair to sell their bangles. The poet has given a picture of the stages of a woman's life and the feelings and emotion attached to those stages through these bangles. The poem also glorifies the rich cultural tradition of India by depicting the role of bangles and bangle sellers in bringing happiness and vibrancy to society. So bangles, the lustrous token of radiant lives, and its seller takes center stage in the poem. That is why the title of the poem, The Bangle Sellers, is absolutely justified. That's all for today. Hope you have understood the poem and found this video helpful. Thank you.